Hey, it's Kellen, and today, you guys, the game is going to get real. If you have children around, you might have to cover their ears. I don't know. It's going to be just real conversations. I have YouTuber influencer Alyssa McNerney, who she is one of those women that you don't know what will come out of her mouth, but what you do know is that she's passionate about it. And when I met Alyssa, she was arguing with a popular, we'll say conservative, some say white supremacist. Alyssa would know better and she can tell us. But how are you doing, Alyssa? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on. Everything's going good. Just gonna try to use this sheltering in place as kind of an excuse to get the channel back going. I have been doing it for about my first video was like 2016, just as a school project. So it's been up for about 4 years. I was active on it for about 2 years, and then the past season I've just been like working a lot and haven't been able to dedicate as much to it. But I'm at a place right now where with everything going on, I'm doing okay financially enough to kind of take a step away and really put my all like into the channel. So I'm really excited to start doing some more regular content out there. Oh, nice.
So
I like that.
Thank you. So is that why we haven't seen you in a couple months? I mean, did life just...
I'm so sad. I haven't been able to post in a while. I think the last video I posted was the end of last year. Just because, I do the video, I do the editing, I write the scripts, I do all the research. Writing the script and getting like all the sources and all of that and writing is like all of that is a couple of weeks in and of itself, but then days and days to edit because I'm not, like a technological wizard or anything, more of a speaker than, and a writer than that. But so it just takes a lot to make like each video happen. And because I don't like to do like, it started, as you know, in kind of retaliation to Tommy Lahren, and folks like that will go on and they'll just do a couple of minutes and that's it. But my videos are typically, anywhere from 10 to 15. I could even have some that are like 20 minutes long because I'm really kind of going in and breaking down those issues and making sure like I'm not just spewing like here's what I think, like here's everything that I'm backing it up with basically. So it just takes a long time. But the cool thing is I'm in the process right now of getting a new phone. It's like an updated version of the one I have now that has like an all-in-one editing software, everything. So you can pretty much like shoot a couple of shots on your phone and then streamline it all into one video, add your other little tidbits of news in there. So once I get that in, like I really feel like I can like film and edit and have a video cranked out in like 2 days or so. So once I get that in, probably I would say the end of this month, May, definitely by summer, you're gonna see Final Facts coming back at least once a week or so.
Awesome. And I think that's what I initially loved about you. We met at Politicon and you had your table and you had, you're arguing with that YouTuber, but also you were also saying how, you had to save up just to come to this event and that you weren't a big YouTuber, that, this was a sacrifice. Can you talk about the business of, your YouTube journey? Because even, saying, oh, I'm getting a new phone, it's like you make some of us say, wow, sometimes we just buy stuff because we're like, we just buy it because we can and we can impulse buys and we can justify it like that. But you are really in the beginning stages of influencing, where some of us have done this almost 2 decades, so we don't even think about it. And I love that you share that with the audience and with people, because it brings you back to reality. Like, this is a business and you just can't buy stuff. Kellen, I'm talking to myself then.
Yeah, it's more than a full-time job, especially when, if you look at people who are, someone like Tommy, she can sit and write her script or whatever and then just go. She's got a full home studio. She's got a whole team of editors. She's got, everything. And that's what a lot of these other YouTubers have as well. And this is something, like I said, it started when I was earning my bachelor's. We were assigned a multimodal project. It was like a writing and rhetoric type course, writing and technical writing type course. And so I wanted to be like, I've always wanted to make this channel. I've always wanted to do like videos in response to like Fox and Tommy and all of that. So maybe I'll just make it. And then like the project went amazing. I got like over 100. The teacher was so impressed. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should start doing this some more. And then actually February of 2017, I went to a protest. I already had, a couple videos up, not very many followers, just a little bit here and there. I had a really awesome sign, and I could send you a picture of it. So if you want, when you post this, you can kind of like put it up. But it was just a little quote that was traveling around, like it took a couple of verses from the book of Matthew, and it would say like, for I was hungry and you said drug test those who would ask for food, et cetera, et cetera. Like basically replacing what Jesus said, his teachings with like Republican policy. So the sign, I just went to a protest, I had the sign. I had a person from CNN that actually interviewed me and really, really liked the sign, took a picture of it, was like, can I post this? I was like, of course, go ahead, post it, whatever. It ends up getting on like CNN's real, like worldwide Instagram page with like 30,000 likes or something. And then all of a sudden I wake up one morning and my sister calls me and she's like, hey, you know that girl, Tommy, that you were like always doing your videos about? I'm like, yeah, I know. And she's like, did you know she made a Final Thoughts video literally about you last night? I was like, no, what? So I go to the link and I look it up, and then like lo and behold, this was actually, it was so funny because it was like right after this that she got fired from The Blaze. So it was like one of her last videos on The Blaze, and she was like, Alyssa is a college student and Alyssa thinks this and blah, 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 blah. So much free publicity. And then so I make a response video like, and then, so I started trying to do the videos a little more regularly. And then the following year, it was like May 2018, I maybe had like 500 subscribers, 600 subscribers, nothing like major. And I only had like actually 50 or 60 at that point. And then I had one video that ended up going viral. It's somewhat viral, it got like maybe 30,000 views. And then a couple more that just kind of took off over the summer a little bit. And I mean, within a month, like I said, I went from like 50 or 60 to over 1,000. It was like 1,500, something like that. And then at that point, so then like after that, I really was like, maybe I should do the Politicon, because that was October of that year. I had a friend of mine, his name's Emilio Perez, and he's been, I guess you kind of say like a sponsor from the beginning. He's always kind of marketed my stuff or promoted it on his social media, and always just kind of been like, how can I help? And he was the one who said, maybe you should do Politicon. So he actually sent an email out to, whoever it was that was, getting all that stuff together, and was like, hey, we have this really cool person, like this channel, we'd really like to get you on. So he basically, sent the email, got everything confirmed. They sent us back and said, here's what you got to do. You got to have $500 for a table. And obviously we have to fly out there and everything. I'm in Atlanta, so obviously that's a long flight. But I put up a GoFundMe and I made some videos. I tried to make a couple of videos like really more consistently. And then I told all of my friends, family, everybody on Facebook, and it only took about a month, and I raised over $1,000. So we had the 500 to pay for the table. We had a little bit left over that pretty much paid for our tickets. And then me and my boyfriend were very fortunate. His family's been very supportive of both of us, and especially of like me wanting to do this. So, they helped us out a little bit too, and we made it work. And we got over there and got to Cali, and I got to meet you and got to have that little debate. I got to meet Phil and everybody. It was pretty awesome. That was one of those moments where the whole weekend I was there doing what I was doing, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to do for good. But, as you know, I had to take a little break, got to pay the bills. So, I've pretty much been taking care of myself since I was 18. So that's really the only reason why the channel flopped, because I still had to work some retail, the struggle.
Yeah, and I mean, it happens. It's life. I mean, you went to Cali to meet so many conservatives, some just flat out racists who don't know they're racist, and you're in the state of Georgia where you could have stayed home for some of that. So to fight the fight. And real life happens. You have to have a real job. Some folks would say, oh, well, your video did 30,000. Why don't you take all those tens of thousands that YouTube sent you off that one video?
Oh my God, no, I haven't. I don't know. People think that it's like all this money, but I got to be real with you. So the first thing that you have to do is you do have to have 1,000 subscribers to become a partner, right? The next thing you have to do is get a certain amount. It used to be a certain amount of views, right? Now it is not a certain amount of views. You have to have a certain amount of minutes watched. which, as you know, some people will click on a video and they're only going to watch like a minute of it, not the full 5. So it's like 400,000 minutes, 450,000, it's wild. And you have to get it within a year or something. And what's so crazy is after Politicon, you know, I did a video, and it was more so just kind of like, not my usual video, not my like, here's all the facts, here's everything. It's more of a, I'm going to sit and be real and just reflect on how I felt about, you know, the experience, the people I met, all of that. And then Hunter, the guy, the conservative YouTuber, got very mad. And he's got like 600,000 subs. So I'm like, I don't even think he like knows or care about me, but he made a whole video about me. And then that, in the long run, ended up being good, you know, despite the messages like every day to like kill myself and like all of this, you know, for, oh my gosh, I can't even like the messages I got. But despite those every day, like they gave me enough views, and it did pop me up into that bracket to become a partner. I became an official partner. It was like Christmas. I remember reading the email because it was like Christmas Eve of like 2018, because it would have been right after all that happened. And so, I mean, obviously now, that's a year and a half later, like you don't get a check from YouTube until you make, I think, your first 100. And I haven't even gotten a check yet. Like, that's a year. It hasn't even been $100. So like, you don't really make money. I'm assuming if you have a lot of views, like maybe Phil or them or whatever, I'm sure you make a little bit more. But like, if it's this hard with this many to make that much, I don't even know. That's why I'm like, I gotta work, you know, like I gotta pay my bills.
And folks, now you have the game as a YouTuber. It's not get rich today. It's not even get paid tomorrow. Sometimes it is a journey, and
it's a lot. I'm sure you just really have to start getting to the point where you're sponsored. Because I mean, eventually, when you have that many, you know, subscribers, because people just don't really click on the ads. I mean, they do, but like not enough to generate that type of revenue that people are picturing in their head that it's so easy to be a YouTuber.
Yeah, we say YouTube is like a drug addict. It needs to be fed every day, and you know, the people need.
And not only that, but it needs to be fed. I don't know what the exact word is, but would be like, because I mean, you have a million other people putting content out at the same time as you. So not only that, but it's like you got to be feeding it quality stuff, or else you're just going to get lost in with everything else, you know. And we can all sit and talk every day about how YouTube's algorithms, who gets this, who gets that. It's a whole mess.
Yeah, and when you say quality, I was watching yesterday, because I don't play video games, but I do have a counselor.
I'm shocked.
I tried to do video game therapy like a year ago, and I'm like, I got work to do. That is my video game. But I was watching a gaming channel, and I'm like, folks really just watch this? And I'm like, it's Grand Theft Auto, and folks, there's not even any.
No, that is the stuff. Do you know what? That's where I feel like the money's at. I have had so many people that have told me, like, you should just learn how to game and get on there and like game in some lingerie. And I bet you would make a bunch of money. So I've been trying. So like with that type, and you know too, we when we were at what was it? We were at Miami.
In Miami.
Yes, that one. And we met Echo.
Echo.
Echo. Yes, Echo. Okay. Love her. She does her little kind of blog talk show. It's kind of like a bedroom boudoir situation. Love that idea. And I had so much fun meeting her. And I have been kind of wanting to incorporate the same thing, but a little bit differently. I've been wanting to try to think of a way to do, like, I'm going to do my videos the way I've always done them, still get them out a little bit faster, you know, is my plan. But I want to do something that, again, I could make a little bit of money off of it to survive, because we got to survive, like capitalism, but I got to make it work. But at the same time, like, I wanted to do something that would get people watching, that would also make people think, that would be a little more authentic. And, you know, I wanted to figure out a way where I could still, obviously, again, post those videos with the facts, but I have shorter videos that are still factual, but just 2 minutes where I'm just kind of going and saying, like, my opinion. So my new thing has been that I want to do those. I do want to do something a little more like snazzy, you know, like do like little short videos where it's like talking politics, but in like lingerie and then like wearing something cute. Because I feel like, you know, it might get people on because they're like, hey, like I want to see that, but wait, what's she talking about? But my process for that has been, I did actually recently create an OnlyFans. I know everyone's been talking about that, but I will say, I think the idea that people have about YouTube making money, if they looked at it, it's almost exactly how OnlyFans is. I have only started that about 2 weeks ago. I have a couple of photo posts up, but my end goal is to have like 2-minute videos where it's basically me doing like, I don't want to say X-rated, but it's me doing like little final facts, but in some cutesy lingerie, you know. But that it is a subscription service, so you pay, you know, so much every month, $10, $12. It's really not a lot that you pay per month. And then people can leave you tips. They can give you more money if they like what you're doing. It's very easy. The platform itself only takes 20% of what you make. And I've only been doing it since March 27th. Like, I just finished my first week, and I've already made about what I was making in 1 week working retail. So like that, I've found that is probably going to be my new outlet. I do still want to do YouTube, obviously, because I want to do like my full-fledged me doing my videos more, I say professional, but you know how I am, you know, talk about my stuff, but definitely more like that. And then having those videos where it's more like, hey, you like what you see here, pay a little bit extra, still the same type of fun content, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like something like that. And then that's just more of a way, like, I hate to be like, I gotta make money, but it's like, we live in a capitalist society, I gotta make money, you know?
Yeah, you gotta make money. I mean, and money answers all things, and there's things that you have to pay even during this crazy time of everything being shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And with the OnlyFans, many people, when they look at that, I'm sure they say, oh, wait, she's getting, she's going X-rated. But these platforms are not just for Instagram models or folks who want to be nude. These platforms are for you to be whoever you are. And there are other, YouTube has its policies where they don't want you to talk about certain things in a certain way. And OnlyFans will allow you to do that. So even someone like Alex Jones could go on an OnlyFans if he didn't have his own system set up. And
I would love to say, like, I don't know who would pay for that, but I know there's some crazies out there who would pay for that.
Yeah, it's just a third party for someone to collect the money. And, we're telling,
absolutely.
Yeah, we're telling more.
But I do, the format's like super user friendly. It's very, like, again, very easy to use, and you can control. I know that there are people who, and me, I'm all about advocating for sex work and all of that. So there are some people who definitely go all out and they really make it like that. Mine's just a little more than what I post on Instagram, but not much. Like, it's just kind of me being cutesy. I've done like modeling in the past and kind of boudoir and stuff. So, just kind of that. And then, like I said, I really want to use it as a way to kind of get people to, again, they come in maybe because they like how I look or whatever, but then now I've got them reeled in and they can actually listen and they might learn something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And let me give some background, because people, with the next thing that I'm going to say and where it may go, they'll say, how do you know these things? But I love how I see you engage, men in person, and it's not like you're just doing it on YouTube. Yes. And so when I was in Miami and it just happened to pop up and I said, hey, she says she's in Miami, and I'm like, hit me now. You got to come to this thing. People might hear, oh, did she say sex work? That's going to get somebody, abused, because, video and magazines is why rapists rape people, right? That's the reason why they rape, because that it's not because in their head, it's because of what they saw on TV. And you know how you have these folks who say, oh, the woman, if she didn't dress like that. Can you kind of talk about, because you talk as much as you want, but I know the testimony, but talk about why you do what you do and why you say those things, and just your whole purpose about, women's rights.
Love that question, by the way. I just feel like, I guess I'll take it back. So I know, like, growing up, a lot of people actually don't know this about me, but I was actually raised Catholic. I went to private Catholic school for like 2nd grade to freshman year, church 2 times a week. I grew up in a very, oh my God, she's wearing that. Oh my God, don't do this. Oh my, all of that. And even me, like, I remember growing up and kind of having those ideas in my head because that's all I knew. And then when I finally, as crazy as it is, because I lived a little more up north, it was coming down south, which you think would be the opposite, but I feel Atlanta can be very progressive. We do have our areas in the South, but being in Atlanta, being in a public school, being in communities like the LGBTQ community, like I by, and also like being, I took a lot, I got to go when I was in college. I tried to do, when it came to writing classes, I tried to take a lot of world literature, African-American literature and history and all of that. I'm just getting to be just kind of diving into those communities and learning as much as I could. And I feel like the more I learned, the more I kind of like was able to get out of this idea that like I was one of those girls that was like, oh, I don't want to be friends with other girls. They're too like catty, and it just is such a sad thing, because I feel like the world that we grow up in kind of puts us in this like cage where we're all supposed to compete with each other. And I feel like a lot of women who still have like, well, I say a lot of women who still have that idea that they're like shaming other women and other people for how they dress, or if they're not as modest as them or whatever. I feel like it's really just a misery within themselves, because they wish, they don't know, like they wish they could be like that, but they don't know, to me, it just kind of got to this point where I had to be like, I'm happy with me. I'm happy with my friends, my family, my partner. I have an awesome support system. Obviously there's always, more things that can happen, and you can always work to improve yourself. But at the end of the day, I'm happy, and I'm happy wearing the things that I choose to wear. I wear it for me. I don't get dressed up for whoever to look at me. I love the stuff that I wear and do and talk about. So it's really just at the end of the day for me to be like, it's for me. It's for me. Like if you're going to sit here and try to impress, spend your whole life, and I know because I am a people pleaser, if you try to spend your whole life like pleasing other people or trying to live to this standard or not saying this because, oh my God, then at the end of the day, I've always said, if there is a job, if there is a person, if there is a partner, a friend, any type of opportunity that would basically see how I am and then walk away, then it's not meant for me. I don't want it. I want an opportunity that's going to see me, who I am, see the person, how I talk, how I dress, everything, and be like, yes, that's what we want, and not make me change. Obviously, it doesn't apply like if people have problematic behaviors, you got to change that part about yourself. But for that of like me being authentic and me being me, there's not any amount of money or any of that that's worth me like changing that to do something, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. And I was being sarcastic for anyone who's on the podcast, which is the most popular listening, when I'm saying a woman's asking for what she wears.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I totally know what you're saying. And that's why I too wanted to, especially this was like so big after, it's always been so big, but you remember with the Super Bowl and Shakira, and they were all so mad about like J-Lo and Shakira. And I'm like, look, like I loved this post that I saw that went around, and it had a picture of Shakira when she was like out shopping with her kids. She had like jeans and a t-shirt, whatever. Then I had a picture of her at the concert in her outfit. And I'm like, they have those pictures and they're like, does this one deserve more respect than this one? They're still the same person. Just let them wear what they want. I just feel like if it's not affecting or hurting anyone else. And the other thing is like, if you're worried like, oh, if my kid sees this or whatever, if it's like, it's a body. I really think that, especially here in the United States, we have such a problem, like this Western culture thing of like sexualizing, like inherently sexualizing bodies. They don't have to be. It's just a body. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big reason why you see the reason that we have the rape culture we have, and the reason that we have, girls as young as 10 and 11 years old worried about their bodies, because we live in this type of culture that says that that's, you've got to be this. Or, as men, that's what they're looking for that. And it's just, I feel like it definitely all is kind of like this cycle, and it just keeps it all in motion. And so me living authentically and doing my truth, it's just hopefully trying to encourage other people to break the cycle and do the same.
And what would you say to, people say, well, when you dress like that, the old adage of you're asking for, because my thing is, first of all, I've worked in that field from CPS to group homes. And I'm like, are these kids asking for it? Because kids are kids.
Yes.
And kids who are, molested and
my favorite response to this, is what? Whoever it is, they're not dressing like a slut. You're thinking like a rapist. That's what it is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say it, but it's true. It's the same exact process of like thought process of like, when you have a girl who's younger, right? And you have a family gathering and they're like, oh, you need to put something on other than those shorts, like your uncles, or we have men coming to the house. I'm like, what men are you inviting to the house? Those men won't be coming to my house. Like, if that's how I'd rather be like, you're not coming. My daughter can wear what she wants, I don't know.
Yeah, that's gonna have people thinking like, oh, okay, because there are, but I have a no tolerance for certain crimes, and so harm, crimes against children and rape, I don't really, there is no rehabilitation for me.
Mm-mm.
And that's just because of all the friends and people that I know who have been abused, raped, and it's just like
And I can't even imagine on top of that, because coming from someone who doesn't have a child, like especially like having a child, and then that I feel like that would just even solidify it even more. You know what I mean? To have those type of attitudes and not that attitude of like cover up. Like, oh, am I still on?
yeah, you're still on your
Okay.
your audio, your video went out.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Default microphone's changed. My video went out. What happened?
For a second, I thought one of those, we were Zoom bombed. I said, oh, okay.
Okay, let me try again. Let's see. Start video. There we go. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. And so with, your activism for women's rights, do you take that where you're open to do speaking engagements locally or elsewhere to talk about that? Like, have you ever
I would love to. I would definitely love to do something like that. I participate in a lot of protests myself. I have done like one where I basically created it and started it. It was one where Candace Owens and Turning Point USA, it was like 2 years ago or a year ago, they were coming to speak in Athens at UGA. So we did like a protest for that. I could definitely see myself speaking. I don't think I've gotten to that point yet where anyone's been like, hey, would you like to come like speak here? But I do frequently, I do post a lot, obviously, about everything I'm thinking. I get in a lot of dialogue, like just at least one-on-ones or group dialogues. I know, like, I feel like I'm at this point in my life where the circle that I run with, like usually, obviously we'll go and catch up and have a good time or whatever. But anytime we have a low kickback night, drinking a little bit, whatever, we all end up in a circle just talking about this stuff and shooting about politics and talking about everything and all of that. So I definitely feel like doing a public type of speaking would be really awesome. I would super enjoy that. Especially, I've always maybe wanted to do my degrees in writing and rhetoric with more of an English concentration. So I've always wanted to, like, I've thought about maybe going back to get, I do want to get my master's in political science, but I've always thought about going back to maybe doing like a teacher certification. So, in that way of being able to kind of, help others, I guess. But could definitely see myself doing the speaking thing or like some type of maybe like a group or something.
Definitely. And if you guys go to her YouTube, I'm not going to even ask all the questions that I could
Yes.
think of on this topic, because I want you to go to her YouTube. You get to know her, you subscribe, because that will encourage her to do more YouTubes, and you can, check out the OnlyFans. Outside of, YouTube and possibly speaking, are there any other businesses that you think that you have, coming in the next, year or two?
So a couple of things. My dream, my like end goal would be like maybe eventually to, like I said at Politicon, I was like, this is what I want to do, like just to really be like a real journalist, a reporter, like to really have the money to be like, oh, something's going on, there's a protest or something at the border, let me drive down there and I'm going to cover it and write about it. So when people are like, how do you know? I'm like, I was there. Here's my facts. Here's the proof. And maybe eventually like get to the point where I do have my own show where I'm like maybe not attached to really a network per se, so I can be myself, but being able to have my own show that's, enough to where I can make a living off, that would be amazing. I am also doing a little bit of a side hustle right now, doing like personal styling. It's a little bit different like than what we're talking about here, but I have always been into fashion, and I usually that's like one of my other like big creative outlets for me, is always trying to like do really interesting, find really interesting pieces and put them together. And I feel like every time I make a post that's more fashion related, I have so many people who are like, oh my God, come shopping with me. Can you help me pick this out for this? And what should I wear to this? So I was like, maybe I should start like a little thing. So right now I'm basically doing just an Instagram page. And obviously I was offering like styling sessions of like, we're going to go shopping together and all of that. But right now we can't really do it. But I also do digital styling, which is basically like you kind of fill out a form or a survey and tell me what you're looking for. And then I'm going to compile a list from a bunch of different websites of like all the best pieces in your price range. So you don't have to spend the whole day looking through all the different websites or whatever. You know, I mean, some people like doing that, but some people don't. So I was like, that'll be a cool way. Like I do have friends that are, you know, outside the country or like in other states that have always been like, I want to kind of do that. Like, or I want your style advice. So I've done a little bit of that. And I just recently was actually styling my friend whose wedding got postponed, but I helped her pick out her wedding dress and stuff. So I have also been doing that a little bit, which has been pretty cool.
And you can sell your PPE that I've seen on your Instagram, you know, with the mask, because you definitely do that style. Yeah, yeah.
So I literally like got that one off a website. I'm not gonna lie, I had ordered it originally like a couple weeks ago or a month ago for Bonnaroo because we were gonna go. We are still gonna go, but it got postponed, so it's in like June now. So I was like, well, I might as well use my mask, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the links are in the description box so you guys can see.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Style and, you know, put in your order even before she, you know, has the whole system. You can just go and say, hey, how much is this? How much is that? Let me ask you, what is your community give back that you are doing or that you want to do in the future?
You said community give back?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, okay. So I have this really awesome idea. I've been talking about this for a while, and I feel like I keep saying like, oh, maybe when I like have, but I feel like, you know what, it's a charity, I should just do it. And I feel like if I just like, you don't need money to start it, you know. I always just feel like I have to wait till I've made a bigger impact so I can get enough people's attention to start something. And then I'm like, no, really, that is so wild, I've never had to do this before. So yeah, so the idea was just, you know, a lot of the times obviously we think like we do need to donate, you know, they need money, they need food, they need those type of resources. But then I think this was probably when I was under early education for a minute. And I took this really awesome course, and it was basically just kind of like talking about poverty within education. And one of the things that it talked about was, you know, the cost of, like, especially if you're homeless, like toiletries, tampons, pads, all of that type of stuff. Because a lot of the times what ends up happening is you see someone who has a uterus and they are homeless and they have to say, well, it's that time of the month, I can buy a box of tampons or I can eat for the next 2 days. And so oftentimes, you know, you're going to go with that. You need the tampons or the pads and you're not going to eat. And that's going to be even worse, trust me, because you need that too. So I want to do something like that because I don't know, that was just one thing that I was like, wow, that really like stood out to me. And so that's something I wanted to start. And I was like, maybe it could be not just that, again, it could be toiletries in general. It'd just be, I guess, finding, you know, the right place to make sure they do get distributed correctly and everything. But that's been something I've always kind of thought about in the back of my head. If we were going to talk like something specific, charity, I do already personally. I'm still trying to do it now, although, like I said, my revenue that's coming in isn't as steady as it was when I had my full-time job. But growing up, like I said, I grew up Catholic. We used to do something called tithing. I know they still do it. It's like where you give 10% of everything you make to the church. So when I got old enough, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, when I was finally like making money where I was like, okay, like I can try to put a little bit away and do what I need to do. I was like, well, like I know we always tithe 10% to the church, but I would rather see where my money's going. So the one thing I try to do now is whenever I would get my paycheck is 10% every single time right off the top goes to somebody that I know is in need, whether that's my friend that I see because she's got her daughter and they're struggling a little bit, whether that is some of the trans and people of color artists in my community that are working very hard to do all of their artwork, their drag, their activism, everything. Like or a lot of people that are asking for donations if they're homeless. I try to really keep up with that community and share the posts and see all that. So usually whenever I get that, like as soon as I see that, that's where my 10% always goes off the top. Like I was like, I can't just talk about these things. Like I obviously have to put my money where my mouth is. So that's been that's at least my thing that I've been actively doing like as of now and in the past.
Wow, that is yeah, no, that is great. And that is good. That's where I want to leave it. I want people to think who you're giving to. You got to give to someone. You decide to give it to the church if there's a good church, but a lot of folks want to make an impact that they can see because churches are buying $60 million planes and different things.
That's my problem is I grew up non-denominational. I don't go to church anymore. You know, I don't think that there needs to be like a physical building aspect of like my religious thing, you know, my spirituality. But I just had to stop going because, I mean, I was going to a church where it started out as one church, then it turned into a mega church. Now they got like 10 giant locations. Each one has a Starbucks. I'm like, do you need, really? Like, I get if you guys need coffee, but I mean, it probably costs a lot of money for the licensing for that Starbucks, and that money could go right back into our community. Not that they aren't already putting money in the community, like they are, but it's like, come on, really? Like, I don't know. That just seems a little like it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's again, I say a good church. I'm the guy who wrote the book. Can you guys see it? On the Christian industry, on the entertainment industry.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you wrote a book.
Yeah.
Look at you.
And I wrote the book because I was like, you know what? The same thing that the world does, I see inside here. So you just have to get in where you fit in. So there are some great churches, but unfortunately, sometimes they get overshadowed by folks who are mismanaging money. I don't want to give the people a game overload, but you gave them the game on the real life of an influencer and making funds and finding that YouTube was cool, but OnlyFans has paid you what you would get at your job for a week. So I want you guys to go make sure you follow Alyssa, and we're going to wrap it up on that. And you and I are going to talk after.
All right. Yes. Awesome. Thank you.